Let's go! Don't let us steal one in Texas. You're going to make a big mistake if you let us steal one in Texas. That's exactly what your Arizona Diamondbacks did tonight. Welcome into the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of the World Series. This adorable man next to me is known in the rap community as Patty Plantain. He's also known to me as my hot tag partner, the one and only Patrick Lyons from DNVR. Thank you again so much for being here. And I know this is unfamiliar territory for you.
Wow, you went there, huh?
I just needed to really fast, but I'm going to just push on.
We're talking
Let's go. This team is a motherfucking wagon. The Diamondbacks get this win tonight, and Merrill Kelly was magnificent. Sorry for the cheap hit.
Colorado Rockies have never won a game in the World Series.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I just needed. You know who also hasn't won a game on the road in the World Series ever? The Arizona Diamondbacks. But now that streak is over because tonight this team wins their first road victory in the World Series. Obviously, we know what happened in New York back there in the day, but of course, here we are with a huge victory. Arizona Diamondbacks win 9-1. They out-hit the Texas Rangers 16-4. We talked about this before, but what an amazing performance tonight all the way around from everyone on this team. We talked about this Diamondbacks team needed an ass kicking. I believe it was Elizabeth who called it in the pregame show. Ski to you, Elizabeth. I did not ski to you, Patrick. Ski to you, Damon. Ski to you all tonight. Ski. But man, just what a thorough victory tonight by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
During the pregame, I think each of us touched on a different element of, hey, here would be the perfect possible outcome for the bullpen to get rest, for the offense to go out, score a bunch of runs, allow Torrey the opportunity to give some other guys some work. Seeing Luis Frias out there in the ninth, that was Damon's contribution.
Yeah.
Getting 7 innings out of Merrill Kelly, and you go, it's what you would prescribe, but there's no way that could possibly happen because, look, it's baseball. You win the game, you figure out how to get it done, and it was exactly how we drew it up, a dream scenario to not only tie the series 1-1, but really reset things in a major way for both the offense, for the bullpen to get some rest. Guys like Andrew Saalfrank saying, hey, maybe he can now be a guy you can count on, alongside a Joe Mantiply and Ryan Nelson, who had an inning and a third as well in game one. A lot of really positive things coming out of game two before we go back to Arizona right here, back in the Valley, back at Chase Field for 3 sold-out games at Chase Field. And maybe, just maybe, the Diamondbacks can close it out at home in game 5. A lot has to happen. But still,
a lot has
series is tied 1-1. That's fantastic for the Diamondbacks and their fans.
A lot does have to happen. And a big part of that is that we know the Diamondbacks are going to have a bullpen game. So, of course, tonight's outing by Merrill Kelly was absolutely crucial to their future success. For him to go out there and do what he did, literally making history for this Arizona Diamondbacks team. Kelly sets a franchise record for after retiring the first 11 batters faced, surpassing the most record for consecutive batters retired by a Diamondback starting pitcher to start a World Series game. As crazy as that stat sounds, of course, the previous record was by Randy Johnson in, of course, Game 2 of the October 28, 2001 World Series. That is per Elias Sports Bureau. So we've talked about Brandon Pfaadt doing things that only Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson have done, and now here's Merrill Kelly doing things surpassing Randy Johnson. He just had an absolutely incredible night. Did not give up his first hit until the 4th inning, which was like a bloop single.
Evan Carter, 2 outs. Yeah,
and then he gives up a solo home run to Mitch Garver to lead off the 5th, and that's literally his only blemish for the entire night. 9 strikeouts, did not walk anybody, gave up 3 hits and the 1 earned run.
And his 3rd time through the order facing the top of that lineup, Semien, Seager, and Evan Carter, 3 strikeouts. He bounces back in a huge way from a 5th inning where that was where Garver hit that home run. There's a 2-out single from Josh Young, but he bounces back 3rd time through the order, striking out 3, including Marcus Semien, gets him looking, and his night's done after 7. Goes 1, 2, 3 again in the 7th inning with 2 strikeouts, both of them looking. And he actually becomes the 10th starter, as you said, didn't walk anyone, struck out 9. 10th starter in World Series history to strike out 9 or more with 0 walks. Curt Schilling did that back in 2001.
He was
unbelievable.
He was just incredible. He was incredible. He seemed to get more dominant as the night went on. He struck out the side several times, 9 Ks and no walks. Like Tom on your side said right there, that is insane. It absolutely is insane. And I mean, I don't know what to say. Groundhog Mama's asking where Flex is. Flex is over there. He's right over here watching the Suns game. Don't worry, we'll get him over here.
He's behind your monitor.
Yeah, he's sneaking up on us. But the offense, what a night for the Arizona Diamondbacks offense. Yeah. Obviously, Gabriel Moreno kicked things off with a solo home run. He's actually the 5th youngest catcher to ever hit a home run in the World Series. In World Series history, behind some big names, including Johnny Bench, who is technically the youngest to ever do it at 22 years and 308 days, 22 days. That would be impressive. Bill Delancey, Tim McCarver, and Buster Posey are ahead of him. But additionally, the D-backs now have the most homers from players age 23 or younger in a single postseason. Right. The young guys have absolutely been doing it for this team. And I mean, again, we could talk about all of the offense tonight, but let's never bench Alek Thomas again. Alek Thomas against the lefty absolutely raked tonight. Yep. He was incredible in the outfield, and let's not knock all of this nonsense off. Forget platooning him. He is in there against left-handed hitters. In fact, we had his father, Alan, say basically that he pitched to him his whole life, and he's a lefty. So what are we doing here? He should be most familiar with lefties. Am I wrong?
There are so many left-handed hitters.
I'm going to drink that. You want to do a thing?
That will
do your thing.
That will hit against other lefties. Yeah, Torey was asked pre-game about Alek Thomas being in this game, batting 7th too, a little bit higher up than you would expect a guy that's supposed to be dominated by a same-sided pitcher. But no, Torey said the defense in center field is way more critical here in this spot. And again, lefties will do damage against other lefties. It's not a foregone conclusion in one of those matchups. We saw a little chess match there. I want to say it was in the 8th inning where Pavin Smith came in, and then Bruce Bochy countered with Martin Perez, a lefty, and then Torey said, okay, we just burned Pavin Smith. Let's go with Manuel Rivera, and that ended up working. Where Rivera walked and got on base that inning. Yeah. But even still, it was great to see Thomas in there, getting the 2 hits, contributing to the 16 total hits overall for the Diamondbacks tonight. In a game in which everything really just went their way.
The big story tonight offensively, though, is that Ketel Marte now officially owns the record for the longest postseason hitting streak in MLB history, surpassing Manny Ramirez, Derek Jeter, and Hank Bauer and himself, all who were tied at 17, and now holding the record exclusively here with an 18-game streak.
Dare I say he's at the top of the mountain now? Could you say that? Can I? Did I just?
I don't know. Damon, can he say
is
that
Ketel Marte actually at the top of the mountain?
Like, I don't know.
Like he's hiked to the top of the mountain.
Let me tell you, it's a gamble sometimes when you bring this up. But of course,
subtle hints.
You got it. Yeah, you got to settle it. See, here's the thing: people mess with Ketel all the time.
And it was down to his last at bat. We weren't sure if he was going to get one in that really long 8th inning where that was the inning where you didn't get that. Unfortunately, you didn't get that in game 1 where you wanted another insurance run, and that wasn't able to happen. Had you had gotten it, that Sewell 2-run homer to Corey Seager is null and void, and you're up 2-0. But they got those insurance runs in a really big way in the 8th, and Marte comes up and keeps it going, keeps the train going with a 2 RBI single for the hit streak. Sweet. And now with 18-game hit streak in the postseason, no one is higher than Ketel Marte. He's at the top of the mountain.
Send him up the goddamn mountain, David. Let's go. Yo, Leo. All right. I'm knocking over beers over here. All right. Well, let's see. There are so many great things to say about tonight. Tommy Pham, 4 for 4 tonight.
Wow.
He did get caught on the base path, but I'm going to totally let that slide.
You know, I did forget about him getting picked off in a really bad spot. You're right.
Let it slide.
He was absolutely fabulous.
He was fabulous.
Goes 4 for 4.
Fantastic.
Okay, hold on. Damon's producing.
All right.
We can't. Maybe when Jacob's here, we can say those kind of puns. But he goes 4 for 4. Two doubles. 27th player in World Series history with 4 or more hits and 2 or more extra base hits.
Reggie Sanders, the only other D-back to record 4 hits in a World Series.
Wow.
It's kind of wild to be making all of these comparisons, like as if the Diamondbacks have so many World Series appearances, but it's for good times. It's for good times. So I do want to get to some super chats.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Benjamin Hunley, says D-backs can only win low-scoring games. Derek Jeter before tonight's game. Ha, dummy. We can go ahead and move on to the next one. Got him. Mr. Grimm says, take a drink out of that bat. I did, sir. That one was just for you. Thank you for your super chat. Momo Murray says, I went to a concert at Globe Life Field back in June, and I was rocking my D-backs hat in there. Now we are playing in the World Series. Crazy.
Morgan Wallen?
Playing in the World Series.
Man.
Thriving in the World Series.
You don't need whiskey glasses.
Thriving.
You don't need whiskey glasses to see the Diamondbacks in the World Series. They're just there.
I don't know that reference or any of his songs at all, but I'm sure that's a good one. I'm sure some people out there appreciate it.
They get it. They know.
Comrade BM says, fellas, I don't know. I mean,
read it. Give the man his money's worth.
He says, is it gay to want Christian Walker smooth hands all over you? And my answer is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Christian Walker got a hit tonight, so God bless that man. The dark days are over for Christian Walker.
Smooth hands is insane.
Smooth.
His hands,
Cocoa buttery.
They're rough. We know those hands are rough, but this is the most important super chat. Our guy Flex with the $50 super chat says that's number 1, fellas. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Circle the wagon. Let's go, man. Oh, man. For those of you that don't know, Flex has been adding $5 to his super chat for every Diamondbacks win. And, of course, we're going to make him pay that money. We're going to get him what we need $70 is what we need to get him to. So, wait, no, 50, 55. I'm bad at math. We'll get him there anyway. But Piece of Yoshi, of course, 65. He said, do I just have to wear black and Sedona every day till the end of time?
That's a fair deal.
I would tell you to remove those unauthorized names on your Twitter, name there. But honestly, I don't want you to change anything you're doing. So nobody should stop. No one should change anything they're doing right now. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Chili Boots, our friend from Minnesota, says, snakes bite back. Let's go, Chili. Caleb Lindsay says, a ski to you, good sirs. Ski to you, Caleb. Ski to Sexy Red, of course, out there, wherever she is. And she says, I was thinking.
Friend of the program.
I was trying to think of who might be getting King Snake tonight, but so many of you snakes did crazy shit tonight. Screw you, Jeter. I'm going to say it like he said, screw you. And then Nick Sutphin, our guy, happy birthday again to our guy, Nick Sutphin. We can't wait to see you here in Phoenix. He said, let's freaking go. Got up early and it's late here in Nebraska, but I'll see you on Monday. Ski. Oh, man, so exciting. This has been an incredible night because this Diamondbacks team thoroughly waxed that ass when it came to what they did to the Texas Rangers tonight. And there's not a lot. I mean, again, they were active on the base path. They were able to reserve their bullpen. Saul Frank went out there. Things got shaky, but who cares? Because they had such a substantial lead. He could have even given up some runs, and he still didn't.
No.
And this Diamondbacks bullpen now gets 2 consecutive days of rest before coming back here at Chase Field for a Brandon Pfaadt start, which we know is going to probably, even if things go well, require the bullpen to pick up a considerable amount of the load. And then we know the next day is a bullpen start. So, like you said, you couldn't ask for things to go better in regards to Torey Lovullo's game plan going forward. Plus, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, they could be up two games, right? They were 1 swing of the bat away from being up here 2 games, but they did what they needed to do, and they have now taken home field advantage to Chase Field and can actually win it here in Game 5.
It's
the
amazing.
Whole damn thing.
It's amazing to see what a team can do when they don't have to worry about their starting pitcher, like just going out there and shoving. And you see that when the starting pitcher is holding down the fort in that way, there aren't those issues. The offense can maybe, take their time, maybe be a little bit more patient. You got to see a small ball. It's funny to look at a box score and see that the Diamondbacks won 9-1, and yet Geraldo Perdomo ended up laying down 2 sacrifice bunts. In fact, he becomes the first player in World Series history to lay down a sac bunt and steal a base in consecutive World Series games. Like, that's the kind of guy. I can't say it enough. Geraldo Perdomo has really opened my eyes here while watching the Diamondbacks, just for being a solid, consistent player. He's just one of those guys. He's not a superstar, but he is so integral, I feel like, to the success.
We've called him the catalyst at times of this offense. He just gets things going one way or another. And he's not necessarily the guy that gets a big hit, but you can't help but notice his involvement.
He's in the middle of everything.
Yeah, in those rallies, in those crooked number innings. He is one of those guys that gets things going. So, like, tonight, you just could credit the entire offense. Like I said, Tommy Pham had an incredible night. We could give the King Snake to Ketel for his historic streak. We could give it to Tommy for going 4 for 4. Like, Gabriel Moreno had a huge, solo home run that kicked things off. Christian Walker finally broke, his streak of kind of this bad luck he's been having.
Gained a lot of momentum today.
Thomas, 2 for 5 against the lefty. You can't say enough about everything that this team did tonight. But again, the one that set the tone, the guy that did it, the guy that gave this bullpen a break and did everything for this team is none other than Merrill Kelly. And for that reason, he is our King Snake tonight. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 9K. I just, again, you often say, oh, Merrill did it quietly. He didn't do it quietly tonight. He did it with a bang. 9 Ks. He was filthy. He was filthy. He absolutely shoved for this team. And I just you couldn't ask for more out of Merrill Kelly and what he gave them tonight and how important it was. Again, the bullpen was absolutely taxed from last night, and it's this time of the year, so you're just going to go all out anyway. Being tired is not an option at this point, but to give this bullpen a rest, to give especially Sewald like a mental reset night for him after giving up such a huge home run himself. It's just big. We talked about needing the flush game 1, and there's no better way to do that than handing a drumming to the Texas Rangers here in game 2 the way that they did.
It was great. And he threw 89 pitches, and there was, I think, some consideration that maybe he would go back out for the 8th, because 89, you go, oh, you're getting up there, but that's over 7 innings. That's the thing, is not any of those high stress innings. Pitch counts, getting 100 pitches that's usually the magic number, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing that in 5 and 6 innings versus closer to 8 innings, you're throwing a lot more pitches in singular innings, which Kelly wasn't. He wasn't out there for very long. So that 89 pitches isn't putting a lot of stress. There weren't any singular innings in which that was the case. And one of the awesome things about the World Series is you get to see new players. As flashy as the Bryce Harpers, and I almost threw Kyle Schwarber, and I don't know if he's flashy, but he's a notable name. As great as those players are, and as much as the
Mookie Bettses, the Freddie Freemans,
the sports fans that are just kind of on the cusp, that don't really follow baseball, how comforting that is to them. I think a lot of people were watching this game and saying, who is this guy? How his numbers have been really good since he's, come over from the Diamondbacks the last 4 years. One of the best and most consistent pitchers, underrated pitchers, a clear number 2 starter and arguably a number 1 starter for the Diamondbacks. And then you hear, oh, wait, this was a guy that was really overlooked by his team in Tampa Bay and went and played for 4 years in South Korea to not only ply his trade, but to make consistent money. Because that's the thing, when you go over to South Korea, you're getting a guaranteed contract. So when he was over there, I don't know what his exact contract numbers were, but a lot of guys will go over there and maybe make, just under $1 million. And then after proving themselves, maybe they make a little bit more than $1 million. And you go, isn't the league minimum like $750,000 in the majors? Yes. But that's if you're on the roster every single day. But if you're getting shuttled back and forth to the majors and the minors, you're not getting that same cut. So the story of Merrill Kelly, I think, is just as huge as part of the 9-1 victory, I think, for a lot of people watching at home. And you go, wow, this Merrill Kelly dude, he really bet on himself in a major way, proved it, and here he is having even more success this postseason. Merrill Kelly, I think, has a lot more fans all around the country after tonight's performance.
Not to mention the fact that he is just such a local guy. So much of his story has been connected here to Arizona. For him to be a part of this team and be delivering for this state, for this, for his family, for this organization, the way he is, it's special. And not only that, but Merrill Kelly was part of Team USA in the WBC.
Yeah,
he represented this country. It's just an incredible story all the way around. So, and yes, There you go. So that was a perfect transition. I was going to say, it's a very loud night here in the PHNX studio, as if we're not doing a show. And so things are excited. There's a lot of good Arizona sports teams. Totri, did ASU win? We won. ASU won. Suns are up by 27. What a fucking night.
You know what
Let's
they
go.
say. Don't let ASU get two.
Don't let ASU get two. Don't let ASU get two. But yeah, Duncan says Rangers getting a little worried now. Look at me in my face. They should be. They should be worried because this team isn't scared. This team isn't scared. So even if they're not perfect here at home, they will go back to Texas and they will finish the goddamn job. I'm confident about that. The Texas Rangers, I am not going to call game one a fluke, but the Texas Rangers were one swing of the bat away from things being a little different, right? So, of course, I thought that there was still a lot of things you could find encouraging from game one, and now here we are on game two, and the Diamondbacks absolutely put a whooping on the Rangers. It's incredible what they were able to do. What do we do? Yeah, see, it's this kind of night. Let's go. They're a wagon. We've tried to tell you they're a wagon. Look at this beautiful shirt, by the way. Go get this shirt, phnxlocker.com. There it is. Go get the official shirt of a wagon. Oh, man, and this wagon continues to roll. So a lot of exciting things happening. By the way, this very show is brought to you by our friends over at the Desert Financial Credit Union, which is Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. I wouldn't have a home without our friends over at Desert Financial Credit Union. This is where my first mortgage was from. They helped me become a first-time homeowner. Let them help you become a first-time homeowner over there at Desert Financial Credit Union.
Sometimes studies show, sometimes Forbes shows. Forbes shows. They're fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, I know you like to lean on studies quite a bit, but studies also show that we are very appreciative of people being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel.
Oh, always.
Always and forever. We thank you guys for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss at least a chance to watch our shows. Just be notified we're going live. That way you can, you know, when it's Totri and ASU, you can whatever. But when it's us, thumbs up. Also, speaking of thumbs up, drop us a like here in the chat. We always appreciate that. As Gabby will say, pop it in here. Drop us a like. It's as good as a dinger, right? If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure to subscribe there as well. Leave us a review. I will accept all reviews, even the ones about my drinking habits. I'm fine with that. And we love you guys for doing both, by the way. It's always great to watch live. It's always great to listen later. You never know. You might actually just be too busy celebrating yourself after a win like this to really hear everything we have to say. So soak it, drink it all in with the audio podcast. But also big shout out to our friends at Empire Today, where you can get you can shop home convenience, the right product for your needs, and quick and professional installation for all of your home flooring needs over at Empire Today. It's the best place to get new flooring. So of course they have copycats, but Empire Today cannot be beat on quality, service, and speed. And you do not want low quality flooring in your home. They won't promise the lowest prices, but anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home they wouldn't put in theirs. So make sure to not settle for that. Empire Today is easy, quick, and convenient. You get someone in your home that day and eliminate the back and forth to a store. Speed and service that you won't get at a big box store. So make sure to check out Empire Today. They do service their own warranties, by the way, which I had an issue with that on a home installation myself. And that could be a hassle when you have to go through a third-party home warranty company. So if an issue does arise, you can just call Empire. They service all warranty themselves. You won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number or any of that business. Just visit their website at empiretoday.com/PHNX. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions do apply. Again, see empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. And of course, once the Diamondbacks do come back here, a great place for people to come visit, like our friend Nick, who will be coming in from Nebraska to stay, is at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Because not only do you get to go watch a baseball game, but then you get to have a casino in your lobby of your hotel and massages and frosty beverages. Because I'm sure it's as cold in Nebraska as it is in wherever the hell you come from.
It's snowing in
snowing,
Denver.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. You're not sitting poolside like
here.
You can sit at Gila River Resorts and Casinos here. So do not miss out on the chance to check that out. Even if you're here in town,
get down here.
Go for a staycation. Yes. I love the staycation. Arizona is a great place for staycations all over the valley, but a great way to feel like you're going up to Vegas without taking that trip is
And
to
now's
go
the
to
perfect
Hill
time to
River
plan
Resorts.
if you've got kids who are going to be off for Thanksgiving, or you're a teacher and you're going to be off for Thanksgiving. Do that, or your winter break. Like, get yourself set up, get out of the cold, because 90% of the country, it's getting a lot colder now. But it's perfect down here.
You're absolutely right.
It's perfect at Gila River.
And here's the other thing too: is if you have kids, my daughter just loves staying in a hotel. So I will do all of this stuff to take her out of town somewhere. And you know what she wants to do? She wants to stay in the hotel. This occurred even at Disneyland. She wanted to spend an excessive amount of time, Patrick, when we had tickets to go to Disneyland in the hotel room. It was wild. So why do all of that? Just stay here in town at Gila Rivers Resorts and Casinos. You can also play some of their fun games. Even if you're not staying at the resort, check out their free games online for a chance to win $1 million in cash. You can check that out over at Big Red Showdown. You can stay in the game and get rewards. It's that easy. They also have weekly pick'ems where you can win up to $1,000 in free bonus play every week, as well as monthly drawings coming up here on November 5th and December 3rd for Cardinals tickets, memorabilia, and free bonus play cards. So visit GilaMillionDollarShowdown.com to get in on the action. For more information on Gila River Resorts and Casinos, all they have to offer, head to playatgila.com. Well, of course, we are going to have our very own Vice Mayor Jesse Friedman joining us here very shortly from the clubhouse. But we do have some more information here. Can we just take a look real fast, just a peek in at what this postseason bracket might look like right now? Because I miss taking a look at this.
Oh, we have a lower half, lower section now. Look at that.
Look at that.
T versus A.
All tied up.
Age-old matchup.
That's an age-old matchup of T versus A.
T and A have always been in a big battle.
Don't make me loosen the top of this swear jar, okay? Don't make me loosen this top.
I will pull it right down.
Why is your mind in the gutter?
Because that's where it goes. He tries to play it straight, but this is what we have to deal with this man. But man, that looks pretty good right now. That looks pretty good really right now. Good.
So the offense, huge, as we said. The 16 hits. Was it 16 or was it 14?
16
hits. That's right. Everyone in the starting lineup got a hit. A couple dudes on the bench as well. In fact, they put the ball in play so well that they put Jordan Montgomery's name on a not so good list that you want to have your name on. So Montgomery's final line, 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 runs. Walked 1, did not strike out anybody. Only the 13th time in World Series history, a pitcher went 6 innings and didn't strike out a single batter. First time since Jimmy Key in 1995 with the Yankees. He was also a left-hander, oddly enough.
That's wild. Well, I will say that the Arizona Diamondbacks might have some really, I guess, positive vibes going their way.
So positive.
Because based on a tweet I saw earlier, apparently they flew all of their employees.
Ooh.
All of their employees.
Yeah.
To Texas for the game.
Damn, that's a good move. That's classy.
That is a good move. I don't know the scope of that. I don't know what's all inclusive in there. But yeah, I mean, if you're an Arizona Diamondback employee, you got to go to Texas.
Honestly, it's probably just the day of. Like the Rockies, I think, did that with one of the games, I think, in Arizona, actually, in 2007, of like, hey, come on into work. We'll fly you down for the night game. And then, we're getting your butt back on a plane because we paid for a hotel, which is fine.
No,
but still, it's cool. That's cool to be able to take advantage of something like that.
Honestly, flying into town for an event and then flying right out without staying at a hotel.
It's a little badass,
It's a little baller.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little baller.
That's a good move by the Diamondbacks.
Do we have sports super chats there, Damon, that I might have missed out on? What do we got? Piece of Yoshi says, Fam had a chance to be the first player to go 5 for 5 in World Series, but Chase pinch hit for him.
Yep, ended up grounding out. It was hit into a force out, really, is what that was.
Carlos says, your new sole record holder of the longest hitting streak in MLB postseason history, Ketel Marte, newly appointed Señor Octubre, is alone at the top. He is Señor Octubre.
He is
That's
him.
it, right? He is him.
I really feel like when Marte had that 2 RBI single, he was just kind of pointing at himself like, there's been no doubt. I feel like, and the translation is just Yo soy él. Like,
Yo soy él.
I am him. Yo soy él.
Yeah.
Like, where is that graphic? We need that. They just played so well and put the balls in the right place. There was a spot early on in the game where Gurriel hit into a double play after Pham's 1-out single in the second. I thought, I can't remember a ton of double plays that the Diamondbacks have hit into. And so that took me down to a rabbit hole.
Oh.
Entering tonight, in the first 13 games that they had played this postseason, they'd only hit into 6 double plays. And so now they've hit in 7 in 14. So it's like every other game, right? And I wanted to see what other teams were doing this postseason. And Houston had a slightly better rate with only 4 double plays they'd hit into in 11 games. But the Diamondbacks have been causing a lot of double plays. There was one game against the Dodgers where they turned 3 double plays. And of the 11 games so far this postseason where a team has turned 2 double plays, the Diamondbacks own 5 of those 11. So they've been rolling that 2 ball in a really major way when they need to defensively. And I think one of the key reasons for that is the double play combo of Perdomo and Marte. Again, Perdomo's so great over there at shortstop. I really think that if he can kind of clean up some of those, maybe mental errors of just taking a playoff during a regular season. He's been great this postseason. I think he has some potential to be a Gold Glove finalist, but the guy who is the Gold Glove finalist and probably should win it again for the second year in a row, Christian Walker. He made 2 great plays. That one where the ball bounced off of first base, he barehands it with those silky smooth cocoa buttery palms of his, and then that other play, that was a double play, right?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a double play, but Perdomo throws it over to him there in the 9th.
Yeah.
Full extension stretch, barely keeps his foot on the bag. That's a ho-hum play that Walker makes that really, there's maybe 1 or 2 other first basemen in the league right now that can make that on their best day.
Yeah.
Christian Walker's been fantastic offensively. He hit a ball, I think, 102 down the line. Jace Young made a really nice play on it on his second to last at bat before he was finally able to get off the schneid and get that hit late. So I think Walker's really starting to heat up. Again, only the 1 hit, but sometimes the process doesn't always match the results. And I think we're going to start seeing those results really match what he's able to do going forward.
That's and I mean overall it felt like, again, we weren't really dissatisfied with that offensive production in game 1. When we said that should be enough to win a game. Tonight we saw the Diamondbacks pitching staff, Merrill Kelly, Andrew Saalfrank come in there and get 2, be able to hold this game or this Rangers team to 1 run scored. 1 run scored on a solo home run. Outside of that, no threats. No, 4 hits for the entire night. 4 hits.
Fantastic.
1 run. You just can't ask for a better night than that. And again, the offense absolutely came alive. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is to get someone like Tommy Pham really cooking here, going 4 for 4 with the 2 runs scored. You had Corbin Carroll 2 for 5 with his 2 RBI. Like, just everybody giving this contribution. It just really feels like, again, the being on the roll factor is big, because they were kind of able to do some things in that Phillies series by keeping the Phillies offense, to minimal. But now this feels different, man. This feels like we're doing to the Rangers what the Phillies kind of did to us in a couple of those games, and it's nice to be on this side of things.
It's true. I also think, in the top of the 8th, it probably got overlooked because it's a 4-1 ball game at that point, and Kelly gets the handshakes, and you go, I really thought maybe he'd have an opportunity to go 1 more inning, but that ends up working out a little bit better. You got those insurance runs in a big way, but those 3 runs in the 8th came with 2 outs, right? Pham had the leadoff single, Gurriel with the sac bunt before Thomas struck out, and in fact, the sac bunt by Gurriel, only one team. So you know this since you cover this team. Only one team all year had 3 sacrifice bunts, and that was Torey Lovello's crew of the Diamondbacks. So it only makes sense that they'd be the first team to lay down 3 sacrifice bunts in a World Series game since the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2011. That, of course, is via Sarah Langs. But they do it with 2 outs, and Perdomo
never sleeps
in the middle of that one, right, to load the bases before Marte's 2 RBI single. And then Carroll with the 2 RBI single. And then I didn't pick this up on the broadcast. I did pick up fans booing at the end of that inning. And I think we had said it here at the PHNX Sports Studios, where we were watching the game, of like, oh man, they're booing their team. I think that is because, according to what Jeff Passan had tweeted out, that there was an audible "Let's Go D-backs" chant at Globe Life Field. So I'm imagining, like any normal fan base, you would respond to the opposing teams chanting for their teams with boos of like, what? No, like we can't allow this. So you talk about momentum in every possible way. And it came in almost every inning for the Diamondbacks to have them feeling really good. Can't take their foot off the gas. Can't take their foot off the necks of the Rangers in any which way. And I don't think they will, because look, Monday is still one game as well, right?
Yeah.
It's just one game.
Yeah.
Yesterday doesn't matter. Today doesn't matter. They're going to go out there and do that thing with Brandon Pfaadt on the hill against Max Scherzer. And who would have thought when this postseason started or when this season started, you'd be more excited and more confident in a Brandon Pfaadt starting than Max Scherzer?
No kidding. I mean, Max Scherzer was not very good in one of his 2 starts so far this postseason. And again, he does not have a lot of time under his belt, where Brandon Pfaadt really feels like he is dialed in right now, more so than we saw him during the regular season. I mean, we saw his numbers at times in Reno, which were incredible, but it's kind of, again, like some of the hitters that we saw have incredible numbers in Reno. It's kind of the opposite, because obviously it's not a pitcher-friendly environment and for the Aces, but you saw what he was doing, and you weren't as impressed by it because you wanted to see him have that kind of production at a major league level, especially after he got sent back down and immediately found his stride again.
Yeah, no, he's been fantastic. I'm really interested in the Rangers staff right now, because Andrew Heaney, I think, was discussed as the number 4, the game 4 starter, and he ended up throwing some innings today. So I don't know if that shakes things up a little bit. And now, does John Gray get that start in game 4? It's strange, but I think the Rangers, and I understand that the Rangers have a lot invested in Max Scherzer, and his deal, his contract for next year is picked up. So the Rangers are stuck with him, for lack of a better term. I think they want him healthy over the course of a 162 game season. You want that guy. You're not stuck with him. He's still an all-time great. But right now, the tough decision, I think, for Bochy is do you have Scherzer have another start? I mean, I understand you can have a short leash, but I think the Rangers are struggling with the Mad Max decision in a way in which the Diamondbacks did not struggle with the Mad Bum decision.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks going and saying in April, enough is enough. We got to cut bait. It's best for our organization to move forward and kind of work around this issue. And the Rangers right now, I guess they don't see Mad Max. They don't see Max Scherzer as an issue. I do, but they're going to go and throw him out there in game 3 against Brandon Pfaadt. And we'll see if the Mad Max that has made his name over the last decade plus of years is going to show up, or it's going to be the guy that's still kind of just fresh off the IL and still working on a couple things and maybe you can argue still rehabbing.
Well, obviously a big part of it is his experience, right? But when you look at his last 2 outings this year in 2022 or 23, that's 23.
In the regular season?
Right? No, I'm talking about postseason. ALCS. He went 4 innings pitched, gave up 5 earned runs. He went 2 2/3, gave up 2 earned runs.
Yeah, he's basically having rehab starts in the postseason, which I don't think you want. And I think you don't want to put a guy out there, even with a resume and a pedigree of a Max Scherzer, and the Rangers like him for some reason, despite the fact that Dane Dunning has done a really solid job and has the most innings pitched on the Rangers starting rotation this entire year. John Gray right behind him, also pretty serviceable. So I think that's a strange decision that if things don't go the Rangers' way, that and Scherzer's not good, you may have to point to that as saying, why was this guy given the ball to start games? If he's a guy you slide in late and maybe try to build up some momentum like you did with John Gray, great. But why are you starting him? We can talk about that a lot more on Monday during the pregame.
No, I am totally going to build on that. Forget that. Forget that. What I'm going to say is that is the difference between teams that are committed to high dollar players and what the Arizona Diamondbacks did this year. Because just like any team, they were committed to high dollar players, and they had no problem eating that cost and DFAing them so that they could have another guy that could help this team win games, step in and take that role.
Yeah.
And that is certainly a choice. And it's not a choice a lot of teams are willing to make. It's not a choice a lot of franchise, forget baseball, in any sport is willing to make. You're making a lot of money. We're going to try to trot you out there and get the most out of you at some point. There might be a time where you fall out of the starting lineup or the starting rotation because you simply aren't, contributing enough to be in there every day, but we're still going to try to utilize you. And sometimes like this, we want to utilize you in high leverage situations where we feel like your experience is going to be valuable here. The Diamondbacks do not really have that commitment to anybody. The guys that are there that are older, that are veterans, are contributing. Evan Longoria tonight contributed. Tommy Pham, I dare you. I fucking dare you to say that he didn't contribute tonight. Here, let me get out the wallet. I'm going to do it because it's worth it tonight.
You're going on a rant. You're saying Christian Walker getting that hit? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tommy Pham.
Hell yeah,
4 for 4.
Yeah, bro.
Hell yeah, bro.
Corbin Carroll, 2 hits tonight.
Corbin Carroll, 2 hits tonight.
Hell yeah,
bro.
That's what kind of game they had today. Really, really good vibes, really good momentum for everybody doing something. Rivera coming in late. I think Rivera's is a great guy for the role that he plays. I think he made the final out too, right?
Yeah.
Today. So everyone kind of chipping in, doing their thing, other than Jordan Lawler, who I guess just is not going to get a chance to play, unfortunately. But we saw Jace Peterson tonight. He's a thing.
What I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Lacey K. Summers, who said, just joined the chat. Thank you for your super chat. Only thing Torrey needs to change is dropping Walker in the order to 8th.
Whoa.
I don't disagree.
After tonight?
I don't know. What? One hit, Patrick, after tonight. Like, I'm happy you got the 1 hit, but she's not wrong. And she also says, and moving Pham up to 4th behind Moreno. It's time.
Well, Pham is heating up. I would be okay if Pham moved up to 4th, a guy that you did put on the bench, in Game 5 of the NLCS in favor of Pavin Smith. But Pham is heating up. Put him 4. You can drop Walker down to 5. But you're saying, hey, 1 hit. I say to you, 1 month. So you're going to cast away everything that Christian Walker has been to this team over the last 3 years and what he provides in his bat over 1 month? Over a couple series? Because that, again, if there's not any better options, and Pham is only better option in the last, 5 hours? All of a sudden?
What have you done for me lately, Patrick?
You are a real Janet Jackson sometimes.
What
you know
have you
that?
done for me lately?
What have you indeed?
Do we have some videos, Damon?
We do not. Apparently.
That's atrocious.
So super
Jesse's
producer
fired.
Damon.
Yeah.
I want to know, so in the 8th inning, and a lot of this changed, and so this question doesn't really have the same, weight that it did probably at the start of the 8th. But what did you think Torrey should have done in that spot? So if it's, again, if it was 4-1 at the beginning of the inning, and then it was 7-1 by the end of the top of the 8th, so that kind of changed things. But were you thinking, Merrill Kelly might go out there for the 8th inning? Was that a thought? Do you think that should have happened?
I don't. Because I don't, because I think that if I'm being honest, there was Andrew Saalfrank who wasn't used last night, who they did turn to. I don't see a need to exhaust Merrill Kelly if you don't have to exhaust Merrill Kelly. We know he's going to need to start again, essentially, right? I mean,
4 days off. I don't think he would have been exhausted. I don't at 89 pitches. Now, the matchups maybe, and you go, you don't want a reliever to come in with guys on base. So I do understand that concern.
Right. I just don't.
And in fact, we did see Kevin Ginkel warming up, right? Because that's the thing is you look and you go, oh, well, it was Saalfrank and it was Frias. That wouldn't have been the game plan if it stayed 4-1.
Yeah.
Because that inning Ginkel was warming up. And that did concern me, actually. Because of the 28 pitches they had thrown yesterday, and he was living out on a high wire just a little bit.
Do we want to give Damon credit, by the way, for the whole Frias thing?
Did call that.
He said
Damon
if we
did
have
call Frias.
Luis Frias closing out the game, that's a good thing.
Damon, were you concerned at all when Ginkel was warming up there, just because of, again, the situation with what he did yesterday, and the game being on the line essentially with only a 4-1 lead?
I think with the 4-run lead, the 4-1 lead, I was happy to see Ginkel because it was still a save situation. No, but then when you bust it open a little bit, then it was the Frias show, and that's exactly everything I wanted to see tonight.
You're looking down at the end of your bench, going, "Who do we have?" Hey, Andy. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we have Alec Thomas with, of course, the best lettuce on this team. And what is Alec talking about, Damon? You can intro this one for us.
So Alec's talking about bringing the World Series to Arizona.
Fucking give it to me. Inject it into my veins.
Happy to go home and be in front of that crowd. It's been a while since, the Diamondback fans have seen, a World Series being played at Chase Field. So, it's going to be really fun.
It is going to be really fun. Tickets are very expensive for that, by the way, but I know a place where you can get some good tickets. Game time. Game time?
Jinx, you owe me Game 3 World Series tickets.
Damn it.
Hey, you get 20 bucks off when you use code PHNX.
That is true. You can't do that.
Good.
And it is the place for last-minute ticket deals. So if you don't have your World Series tickets yet, you might want to check Game Time out. No guarantees there. But, of course, if you do check it out on the game day of, who knows what you can find. I've seen some crazier stuff on there. So
they have last-minute deals. Yeah,
make sure to check it out. It is the place for last-minute deals, and it is the fastest-growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app now, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Also, you can't see them super well in this shot, but there's some adorable little bobbleheads down there keeping us company. And of course, those are provided to us by our friends at FOCO, which is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more, all for your Arizona sports teams. It's the best officially licensed gear you can find. Of course, during baseball season, you need to make sure you have all the things, including your stuffed snake, this wasn't sold at FOCO, but you can find great things like it, including Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, and these collectible bobbleheads, which are like little tiny works of art. Do not miss out. They are limited edition. They are numbered, and you can get them now quickly. Make sure to do so because they'll probably have some limited edition World Series ones. And when we win the World Series, there'll probably be some World Series fun ones with them holding a trophy. There's a picture of Christian Walker with a baseball bat, like menacingly holding it while he looks at the trophy. I'm sure it's like he's like batting, but it looks like he's going to smash the World Series trophy to bits. And I kind of want that as a bobblehead, like that exact picture. So maybe they'll make it for me over at FOCO. But they always do have our back for Arizona sports, and FOCO has yours too. Of course, get the best gear around by visiting FOCO.com and using code PHNX. For all non-presale items, use the code PHNX for 10% off your order. We have more from our guy, Alec Thomas, our young king, talking about facing Jordan Montgomery tonight from the Texas Rangers.
Just trying to see him up and trying to, get a good pitch to hit and lay off, the pitches that are, down and the, pitcher's pitches. So, I think that's, the approach.
They did an excellent job of getting to Jordan Montgomery earlier. And, of course, that only allowed Merrill to further just build his confidence and have himself a great outing.
That's the kind of dog that Jordan Montgomery is. Still lasts 6 innings, despite the fact that the Diamondbacks were able to get to him, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you an idea about the Rangers bullpen a little bit, where you go, we don't have enough guys where we might have to pull a little bit early.
Yeah, we can't burn these guys.
It's not an option.
You got to worry about the whole series, and that's what both managers had to do in this series. But, of course, we do have Gabriel Moreno here also talking about the main man, Merrill, the mainstay on the mound tonight.
Yo creo que hoy él me rotaba todos los picheos. Todos los picheos estaban buenos y wow, la localización que pudo tirarlos todos, yo creo que ese fue una de las piezas muy importantes.
All of his pitches today, he was able to land all of his pitches today. I think that was the key part today.
Yeah, Moreno's home run today, his fourth of the postseason, tied for the second most of any catcher in a single postseason, behind only Sandy Alomar Jr. back in 1997, where he hit 5. So, dude looking to reach the top of the mountain of his own mountain, right? Of most home runs in a postseason by a catcher. Impressive.
Is known baseball GM Elise trying to bring me down on this momentously joyous occasion?
Yeah, she's trying to keep us straight.
Hey,
She's trying to keep everything in perspective without Jesse here. She's trying to keep me rational. That's what Patrick's for, Elise.
Look, like not to quote the theme song of Facts of Life, but you take the good, you take the bad, you take the rest, and then you have the facts of life. But really in baseball, you flush the good, you flush the bad. You flush the rest, and then you have the Diamondbacks, the answer backs.
Get him off this set right now, Damon.
That's what it's about. You've got to Monday is Monday's game. That's the only thing that matters. One game at a time.
Exactly. No, I mean, you're right. I mean, winning this game only matters if you can go home and take care of business at Chase Field. And, there's some positives here. The Diamondbacks have faced quite a few teams that have a very strong road presence. And I know nothing about the Texas Rangers fan base. I am not going to belittle them in any way, shape, or form. I do not know how well they travel, but I have a feeling that they definitely do not travel as well as the Phillies travel or the Dodgers especially travel here in Arizona. So what we're going to have is Arizona Diamondbacks fans coming out to absolutely root on this team. We're going to have Jake from John Boy coming out to protect the pool. We got that covered already. So everything here is already set and ready to go. So I'm feeling very good about it, but they do have to take care of business at home.
Yeah, and tickets are not cheap, as we've discussed. So
they are not $12 anymore.
No.
You guys ruined it.
No,
we could have $12 World Series tickets, but you had to blab about it online about how nobody comes to games.
It's over $600 right now, closer to $580 when you get the $20 discount when you use code PHNX on Game Time. But that's 60 tickets that Phillies fans could have bought for that kind of money.
Yeah.
Which that Phillies fan can't now. And if they went, they wouldn't be seeing the Philadelphia Phillies even playing at this game because they did get knocked out, unfortunately. This will, of course, be the 11th consecutive World Series that does not end in a sweep. Last time that happened was 2012 San Francisco Giants, where their manager was Bruce Bochy.
I remember that.
But Bruce will not be getting the sweep.
He will not. He will not. Before the game, Tommy Pham and Alec Thomas were both given a very special present from Big Papi.
Oh, really?
They were.
Was it a cowboy hat?
It was shirts.
Oh, okay.
It was shirts, and it might be the reason why Tommy Pham went 4 for 4 tonight.
Are they the button down with the little pearl buttons?
No. Let's hear this is what Alec Thomas had to say.
Yeah, Big Papi gave it to me in the interview with Fox, I think it was. But yeah, he gave it. He said, "You're my dog, man," and he gave me the shirt. So, my dog.
Damon, when are you getting your shirts, and when are we going to get them?
I feel like I definitely should be handing these kind of shirts
How do
out.
we not have Damon Dog shirts with just a picture of you pointing up at the sky wearing those sunglasses that you're wearing right now?
And I do one on the back, like it's almost like a jersey. It does need to say woof woof across the shoulders.
Yeah.
And maybe mine says arf arf, you know what I mean? Like
maybe we customize them as to whatever type of dog each person is.
I would very much be okay
Such
with
as
that.
an arf arf or a woof woof.
Whatever you may be.
The Diamond Dogs is really what we're talking about because there's a 26-man roster of dogs that are continuing to do things. They're continuing to do some really, really impressive things. You know, Gabby Moreno also, by hitting third in Game 1 and Game 2, as he's been here for a little while, the youngest D-backs catcher, of course, to start a World Series game. But only 2 catchers are ever 23 years old or younger, or rather younger than Gabby Moreno. Buster Posey, as you just mentioned, back in 2010. And then a Hall of Famer that we've discussed was not a first ballot Hall of Famer, Yogi Berra, believe it or not, age 22 in the 1947 World Series. So, man, the future is so bright. But again, going back to what we had discussed earlier, for Torey Lovullo, there is no future. There's only Monday. Like, that's the only game that matters. And Brandon Pfaadt's going to be on the bump. And that's got to make you feel really good. And despite, I think, the results of these games, it's like you just can't count this team out. Until the 27th out of the 4th Texas Rangers win is secured, the Diamondbacks have an opportunity to answer back. And so far, this entire postseason, 84 wins be damned, they have answered back. They are dangerous.
He said the name of the movie in the movie. By the way, when I was typing earlier, someone said that they want a Damon Dog shirt in the PHNX locker. I think it was Charles Woodall Pike because he's always full of good ideas. Damon Dog shirts in the PHNX locker when? I just in the middle of the show decided to message Eric to tell him we needed a Señor Octubre shirt. So maybe we'll get that going soon because I wasn't going to let that idea not immediately be made. We'll see if we can get that to happen. But I mean, Alec Thomas might need a Señor Young King shirt. I don't know because this man has been incredible during the postseason. He was incredible tonight. Once again, we talked about it. Do never bench him against left-handed pitching again.
No.
And here he was talking about the Diamondbacks attacking starting pitching for the Rangers so far in this series.
Definitely our plan. We've definitely had a good plan against some of those guys, and we got to execute that plan, and we executed. So. Just playing together and putting together great at bats and just passing it to the next guy.
Passing it to the next guy.
Pass that baton,
man.
Pass that baton. Cog says 0.3% chance to win the World Series this year. Fuck the odds. Never tell me the odds. And Cogs, you owe $1 to the swear jar, and your mom's here, Cogs. Watch your language. Watch your language. But yeah, I mean, there are just so many things you could say about tonight's win. Again, there's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of guys that deserved credit for being a potential king snake tonight, because it was really just a thorough victory here when it came to both the offensive production, Merrill Kelly on the mound, and the two guys that they called on to, again, the two guys that who knew if you were going to get called on, especially Saul Frank again after the way he's pitched so far, and Luis Frias, who was very good in his inning of work when they did have the bullpen start against the Phillies in the NLCS. But again, you don't know if you're going to get that, if you're going to actually get that call again.
That's an interesting juxtaposition between games 2 and games 3. In game 1, the Rangers got the legacy type performances from the guys that you would have expected, Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia. So nothing really changed for them as far as their recipe for winning games. But in game 2 for the Diamondbacks, they got Christian Walker warming up a little bit.
Yep.
Tommy Pham
cooking,
heating up a lot.
Doing a little
Luis
cooking.
Frias doing good. Andrew Saalfrank kind of back into the mix. And then Merrill Kelly kind of putting a stamp on this thing of like, I am a postseason dog. I am the ace of this staff. And so when it comes back to me for game 6, fear not, because we're going to get a W there.
Yeah.
Like that's, I think the big difference is you saw more momentum going the Diamondbacks' way after their win tonight. Whereas the Rangers as a team, where did that momentum come from? I think the bullpen a little bit, right? John Gray with what he was able to do in multiple frames. And Nathan Eovaldi, no, not necessarily, but the momentum was the guys who pretty much already had it in Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia. The Diamondbacks had momentum in a place in which, they really needed it.
Our favorite Dodgers fan, Maria G, showed up and she said, please, D-backs, jump on Scherzer. I will always have deep disdain for that guy. Bitter Dodgers fan. We love you, Maria. You're a real one. Maria's a real one. Charles Woodall Pike with the super chat. We love you, Charles Woodall Pike. He is paying Cogs' swear jar fine.
Wow.
Which that's talk about real ones. That you are a real one, sir. And yes, we will pay that. Let's see. We did get to Lacey. We thank you for your super chat so much. Benjamin Hunley said MLB TV just compared Moreno to Yadier Molina. We did that shit first. We've been doing that for years. Well, not for years, but the whole time we've had him.
And Marcus, it's not inappropriate to want Merrill Kelly's right hand rubbing your body. If you have some tension in your shoulders,
not at all.
He can work out a couple knots.
Not at all.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with two dudes in a tub drinking beers.
Marcus,
you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Caesar says Ketel Marte Senior November form coming soon. That might be his ultimate form. And then Thomas said 30-year-old rookie via South Korea ace, Merrill Kelly. That's go.
A great story.
Yeah.
I think America found like a new favorite player to like root for, of like, wow, all right.
Yeah.
This guy's something special.
We're America's team.
Special. We missed out on him. We are so lucky.
Yeah.
To learn a little bit more about this guy and kind of a new favorite player in the desert, but we're lucky enough to be talking to somebody else.
That's right. You're right. We are lucky enough to be joined.
Who's known to be
when we
in the
talk about
desert.
America's player, we're talking about America's journalist. It's the one and only wholesome God himself. It's my vice mayor. It's your thunderstick coming to us live from Texas, Jesse Friedman. Jesse, what a win for the Snakes, stealing home field advantage and bringing it back here to Chase Field.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say, right? I mean, I know the final score of this one makes it look like it was all Diamondbacks and no Rangers, and when all was said and done, it kind of was. I mean, this was a big time win for the Diamondbacks, where they sort of made a statement after what happened yesterday. They're not going to go down, easily after what the Rangers did to them in very dramatic fashion in Game 1. But yeah, I mean, for the Diamondbacks to come out here and for Merrill Kelly to be as good as he was, right? I mean, that's what this ultimately comes down to. I don't know if the Diamondbacks score 9 runs if Merrill Kelly doesn't do what he did, right? The Rangers were not necessarily using their best relievers. This was a game, pretty late. This was still a close game pretty late, and the Diamondbacks were ultimately able to pour it on. But it very much started with what
Jesse,
Merrill Kelly was able to give the Diamondbacks on the mound.
I hate to cut you off. Your audio is terrible. And I'm not blaming it on that terrible building you're in, but it might be that building's fault. We've talked about it being a poorly constructed, newly built building, but I'm not sure. Your microphone might be wrong or whatever. We're having a really hard time hearing you.
It also sounds like he's inside of an air conditioning unit, which, to be fair, that's what Globe Life Field is.
That's also what that building is like. Yeah,
it could also be just that, right? It's the field itself.
Am I any better now? Should I leave and come back?
No,
I think it's probably coming out of your laptop.
Unfortunately, not. It sounds like it's coming from your laptop potentially instead of your mic on your ears, but we just can't hear you. So maybe we can have you click off and rejoin us here in a minute.
Jesse almost looks like he's on the roof of Globe Life. He's so high up.
He's very high up there. His
If
picture
the
was very
roof
high
wasn't
up there.
closed,
Yeah.
we would have thought he was on top of
Yeah.
Globe Life.
Yeah.
But no, the roof was kind of
This
that
is an
giveaway.
all retractable roof World Series,
is.
by the way. Yeah. See, this is like you guys need to get your shit together. Have a retractable roof. That way elements can't slow us down during this time of the year.
They were closed for games 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Diamondbacks are going to have them open. It sounds like they're going to be
Yeah.
open. The weather is nice. The
Weather's
5:07
great.
p.m. start time.
Yeah.
It allows them to be able to open it. Like usually the early, because we don't really have 5:07 start times unless it's on a Saturday, right? The 5:10. So outside of that, usually it's usually 6:40, which is a little bit safer of a start time. I was laughing at Elizabeth's comments who said Jesse was using a tin can and a string. Definitely nailed the exact sound. It sounded like
it's
he
actually
was making.
an eye tin can and eye string is what it needs to be branded
It's still
as.
very expensive.
What's the shadow situation when the roof is open versus closed? I think that in one of the games it was closed, and then in fact when it was closed, I feel like there were more shadows. There was like sunlight on Corbin Carroll's face when he was in center field. There's
a weird thing like that. Yeah, I mean it's because that's like still there. It's not completely blocked out. Yeah,
Right.
like there's some windows and stuff. But yeah, I know like what you're saying. Like yeah, maybe it's just easier to be out in the sunlight instead of having like those odd kind of like beams from windows kind of coming down.
Yeah.
But we do have Jesse rejoining us. Let's take a listen to see if he's bringing his World Series quality sound this time.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Let's go!
Hey!
Nice!
All right.
Bring it home. Thanks for joining us. This has been oh wait, sorry.
No, we're not doing that
doing.
yet.
Sorry, I forgot
We've been
what we were
waiting
doing.
for this. We've been waiting for this. Tarps off the field, boys.
Yes.
Let's go, Jesse.
45 minutes of Jesse talk.
We've been waiting for this. Do all the heavy lifting, pal. We're gonna kick our feet up and just relax and celebrate this win. But yeah, I imagine vibes are very good for this team. And again, we've tried to, just like we were bringing everybody up yesterday, we're trying to just keep things a little level and say there's still a lot of work to do in this series. Can't guarantee any victories at home at Chase Field. We know they haven't been that dominant at Chase Field, but this is definitely a huge step in the right direction to steal this one in Texas.
I mean, the D-backs have been pretty good at Chase Field, right? I mean,
they've
played four games in the postseason at Chase Field. They've won 3 of them. I guess that's a pretty decent place to be. But yeah, you're right that there's a lot more work to be done here for sure. Right? It's just a split, but it very much changes kind of the view of the game yesterday.
It does.
I mean, if could you imagine if Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia hadn't come back and done that for the Texas Rangers, they'd be looking at a 2-0 deficit going back to Arizona for 3 games. That'd be a really, really difficult spot for the Rangers to be in. So, because they were able to do that, because Adolis Garcia and Corey Seager, came through in such an incredible way last night, this is very much a series. It is 1-1. Right, the Diamondbacks are right very much in the thick of this thing, given what they were able to accomplish today, and they did it in kind of a statement-making fashion, right? For as close of a game as this was for a long time, and I want to get into Merrill Kelly and everything that he accomplished tonight a little bit later, but the Diamondbacks blew out the Texas Rangers in their own ballpark, right? This game was not close. It was 9-1. I know Bruce Bochy was, kind of just letting Martin Perez, who didn't really have his best stuff tonight, just kind of letting him eat those innings there. Wasn't going to his best relievers. But the Diamondbacks really had their way with the Texas Rangers today when all was said and done. And once again, this was another instance where the Diamondbacks were able to get to a starting pitcher that a lot of other teams, a lot of other very good teams in the postseason haven't been able to get to. Jordan Montgomery came into this game with a really impressive, I think it was like a low twos ERA in the postseason. And it took a little while. The D-backs didn't get to him right away. Similar with Nathan Eovaldi yesterday. It took a couple of innings. But ultimately they did, right? Montgomery gave up 9 hits and 4 runs over 6 innings. He didn't strike out a batter. No Diamondbacks hitters struck out until the 8th inning of this game, which was really remarkable.
That's crazy.
Just the quality of the at-bats throughout this game was really impressive. And, it took a while for it to materialize, but when all was said and done, the Diamondbacks really had their way with the Texas Rangers here in this one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was such a prophetic kind of performance based on what we had talked about in the pregame show of like, man, everything would be perfect if all of these things happened.
Yeah.
And it really did all happen almost perfectly.
Yeah, we were like, if Merrill can go out there, give him a long outing, and maybe if they get Saul Frank, this guy over here, Damon, even said if we have Luis Frias closing out the game, that's a good thing. And it's like everything we discussed as far as the best possible outcome that you could ask for as far as the pitching staff goes tonight came true. And it just gives the Diamondbacks an opportunity to rebound from game 1, which was more devastating almost in the usage of the bullpen than the loss. The loss was what it was. The Texas Rangers did what they were supposed to do. I have said that I was not really discouraged by the loss. I know that's one that kind of is a bit heartbreaking. It's a bit heart-wrenching, but it was still one of those losses that you could say the Diamondbacks basically won this game. Paul Sewald just had a bad night out there, and unfortunately that bad night resulted in them being able to tie up the game. And then from that point on, they were kind of handcuffed as far as the pitching, the pitchers available to them to use in extra innings going forward, right? So, and that game played out the way that it did. But I still felt very good about the way that the offense performed in that game. I was actually still highly encouraged by Zach Gallen, even though he gave up as many walks as he did, and the team as a whole gave up as many walks as they did. But tonight, Jesse, Merrill Kelly was just magnificent, and he did not walk a single person, striking out 9 and giving the Diamondbacks exactly what they needed in 7 innings of work.
Yeah, it was kind of like Curt Schilling-esque, right? I mean, you think back to what Curt Schilling did for the Diamondbacks in 2001. I know that's a lofty comparison to make, but Curt Schilling's line, I think it was in
game 1.
I'm forgetting the game. I think it was in game 4 is actually the game that I'm thinking of. Curt Schilling obviously had a number of great outings in the World Series. I think he pitched 3 times in the World Series for the Diamondbacks, but in his Game 4 outing, Curt Schilling went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Tonight, Merrill Kelly went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 9 strikeouts. And obviously, that was 22 years ago, so I don't want to go too crazy with the comparisons. But
the comparisons are all over the place. We can't ignore the numbers, Jesse. The numbers. Let's talk about the numbers. You want to talk about the numbers?
Look, we can almost no longer say Merrill Kelly's a poor man's Curt Schilling. Now, of course,
no, he's a rich
people
man.
Outside the market are going to look and go, well, Curt Schilling's a borderline Hall of Famer. Kelly, not the case. But for this franchise, for this season, and for this postseason, for what both those two were able to do, I mean, Merrill Kelly is elite. He's an all-time guy that's going to be remembered here this postseason.
Incredible night tonight.
Yeah, he was just so good and just sort of in control of this game right throughout. I know there was the 1 home run that he gave up to Mitch Garver, which was really impressive home run, frankly. That was the lowest pitch that Mitch Garver has ever homered on in his major league career. So I think that's just sort of like a hat tip kind of a moment where it's like, all right, if you're gonna homer on a sinker that's below the knees and sort of off the plate inside, hats off to you. But yeah, Merrill was so good in this game, throwing strikes consistently, as we said earlier, not issuing a single walk. And the way he went out was really impressive, right? That 3rd time through the order is something that we spend a lot of time talking about here in the postseason. It wasn't an issue for Merrill Kelly, right? That 3rd time through, he faced 6 batters altogether. That's when Torrey decided to take him out of this game. But of those 6 batters that he faced the 3rd time through, he struck out 5 of them and also got a ground out. It was a really dominant way to finish this outing. And I'm sure you guys maybe already had this conversation about whether Merrill Kelly should have continued in this game. I guess the D-backs, wound up kind of opening up a bigger lead at that point, which made the question a little bit less interesting.
Absolutely.
But you could argue that he probably could have
though.
given you 8 innings.
You had texted us asking us, because I know you didn't see on the broadcast, but there were handshakes and smiles all being in the dugout, so it didn't really need that extra cushion for them to make that decision. But like you said, it makes it that much easier, and not to mention the fact that there is still a possibility that this team is going to need Merrill Kelly to pitch again, and you still want to try to save him. There's no need when he's been this good, and you still do have available arms in the bullpen to come out there and do the thing. Obviously, though, it's all about results, and because they won, and because Saul Frank went out there and pitched the way he did, it's a moot point. But had he gone out there, maybe if they didn't get those runs and it was 4-1, and he goes out there and gives up a couple of runs and makes it a closer game, and it's 4-3 going into the ninth, you're screaming at Torrey for taking Merrill out, right? But it's all relative to the results, and in this case, the Diamondbacks end up with a huge victory that was a pretty thorough defeat. We talked about this kind of being like when the Phillies beat the Diamondbacks in Game 2, that it just kind of felt like that they beat them in every facet of the game, and tonight it felt like the D-backs did that to them. Ketel Marte extending his hitting streak now to historic levels. He now holds that record with an 18-game hitting streak, longest in MLB postseason history.
Have you guys talked about Torrey coming out and taking a picture of all the media members?
No, what was that about? Do we have the picture of that, Damon?
What's the back?
Oh, we do.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So what was this about?
So it's utter chaos covering the World Series. I've discovered that very quickly here in the last couple of days. If you're going to the winning team's clubhouse after a World Series game ends, there are so many people lined up to enter that clubhouse and talk to players. And Torey Lovullo walking by was like, oh my gosh, there's like a bazillion people waiting in line to enter our clubhouse right now. This is really cool. Let me come out and take a picture of this moment so that I can savor it for years to come. So this is a picture. This is me taking a picture of Torey Lovullo, taking a picture of all of us lined up outside of the clubhouse.
He is one of us. He is one of us.
I will also say that as pretty much right around the time that this happened, apparently Torey Lovullo was not a part of this, but before we were all allowed to go into some roaring applause, some sort of inspirational speech that was being made. We weren't allowed in there at that point, but Diamondbacks clubhouse was a pretty happening place before all of the media was allowed to get in there. It sounded like somebody was giving some sort of a inspirational something or other, and all the guys were getting into it.
Dropped the F-bomb, Jesse. He said "fuck more." We know that's exactly what happened.
I don't think he was in there though. It appeared, because he right around that time he popped out and took a picture of all of us as it was still happening. So I don't know who was in there giving the pep talk to everyone, but there was a lot of noise. We could definitely hear some of that as we were waiting to get inside there. And I think the Diamondbacks understand there's still a lot of work to be done here, but this is about as resounding of a Game 2 win as I think you could imagine.
You've got a huge crowd of media. You've probably been in Torey's office where there's maybe only 2 other people asking him questions pre and post game. Is that right?
There's been times where it's me, Jesse, and Nick Picoro.
Wow.
I miss those days, man.
The spring training. Remember spring training days this year when sometimes it was just us? Oh my God. Yeah.
I've never been part of a scrum with like 50 people in it, or surrounding one person's locker. I didn't think that was like really possible, but I mean it's all in good fun, and the Diamondbacks deserved all of the attention that they got in a game like this.
If it's more than 20 people, it's a performance. It's no longer a scrum.
It's a stage show.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, get your ass back here. We missed you so much. We hope you get back here. We can't wait for you and the team to get back here. Maybe we can get this job done here at Chase Field and not send you anywhere anymore. You can sleep in your bed the rest of the fall. So we're looking forward to that, buddy. And of course, we thank you again so much for your extremely wonderful coverage. Do not miss Jesse's writing. And I want to tell you this, you have done an incredible job. Every single day, there is a piece from Jesse that would take a normal writer an entire week to write. And instead, Jesse's just sacrificing all of his sleep and all of his time to bring you all this wonderful coverage.
Water drinking.
So do not miss out on everything he has going on over at gophnx.com. Sir, we salute you and we thank you again for your hard work.
It's outstanding.
I salute Patrick, who somehow is just a permanent Arizona resident at this point and is still sticking around helping us out.
He lives at your house now. He's had his mail forwarded there. It's kind of wild, but he's taking excellent care of your brother. He's been watering him every day and taking him out for walks. So don't you worry. He's in good hands.
I'll see you at the bus station tomorrow, buddy. I'll pick you up.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Well, we thank you guys again for being here. Of course, great way to celebrate this victory is with our friends from OG's Brands. And if you're stuck on what kind to get, I don't know, if you need to get amped up more, get yourself a Sunny Sativa. If you want to try to go to sleep after this exciting win, maybe a mellow indica. But it doesn't matter because the OG's Brands has you covered with a wide variety of flavors. They're all delicious, and they have their mixed bags with fruits and cream, so you can take all the guesswork out of it. Just grab one of those, try them out, and of course, maybe you'll just like the variety. So they have those available, and they allow you to customize your OG's experience based on the mood or time of day, depending on what you're looking for. So check out our friends at OG's Brands for yourself. Try a one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Of course, you can check them out across all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com to find them at a local dispensary near you. You must be 21 or over to enjoy, and please enjoy responsibly. Elise asked if you got to drive the RAV4. Do you have the keys to the RAV4?
Oh, of Jesse's car?
Yeah.
You talking about these bad boys here?
We're going to Salad and Go, baby. We are going to Salad and Go. Well, we thank you guys. Of course, make sure to grab yourself a shirt, by the way, if you haven't grabbed a shirt yet. We are fucking dangerous. And when we say that, we mean me and him in Jesse's RAV4. But we also mean the Arizona Diamondbacks. So grab yourself the shirt of a dangerous team right now. If you are not a diehard member, you can get that shirt for free. By joining us and becoming a diehard member. Of course, you will get a shirt for free. Or whatever shirt you want here from the PHNXlocker.com. You also get 20% off all future purchases, get access to our members-only Discord lounge, get Jesse's newsletter, you get discounts with our partners, so much more. Get all of those shirts. Get ready. Get ready to celebrate this team when they get back here. And we all need to go to the airport or some shit. I don't know. But get yourself a diehard membership, too, while you're at it. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter in the meantime. We will be back here Monday. We actually get a day off as well. Jesse probably doesn't. He never stops working. But I don't know. He's
going to be on workout day.
Me and him, I know, of course. That's where he's going to be. But
after I pick him up at the bus station, drop him off at the field, you and I, we can go,
we'll go watch some wrestling or something. I don't know. But he's at Jesse and Friedman. I'm at Cap_Caveman. This maniac next to me is at Patrick D. Lyons. Of course, the people's producer is Damon. He's at Damon Dog. We are Damon's Dogs. Woof, woof. It's at DAWG. This maniac is Saul Bookman.
Stay tuned for a PHNX.
It's a big night for Arizona sports. Let's fucking go. But of course, our show's at PHNX_DBacks, and all roads do lead to at PHNX_. What did I already say sports? I don't know. One's PHNX_DBacks, one's PHNX_sports. I think you can figure out which one is which there, but
both.
You're smart. You're smart, guys. Shout out to Al Ducard, of course. He said if we win the World Series, we should give Paul Goldschmidt a ring. If it wasn't for him in St. Louis beating Chicago in the final game, we don't make the playoffs. He's still contributing to Arizona sports.
Detail.
I mean, I'm not getting down with giving him a ring, but we'll give him a hearty thank you note. We'll write him a handwritten thank you note. Carlos says, I'd like to point out that this win's final score match Game 1's win in the 0-1 World Series.
Carlos doing the homework.
They're all beyond consequences or coincidences. Coincidences. Oh, it's the stars aligning. Yes, thank you, Carlos. But of course, we thank you guys again for being here tonight. We appreciate your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you steal home field advantage in the World Series. Let's go!
We all silly like the mayor.